Test. Josh, can you hear me? Test. Test. John, can you? Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, Joe.
Okay.
I can
Thank
hear
you.
you.
Thank you. Good luck. And the screen, is that okay?
We can see it. Perfect.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Hear you? We can hear you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Lots of people joining. Okay, welcome everybody. And so good morning, good afternoon, good evening to many. We've received a lot of registrations um, from so many across this wonderful planet of ours, right? And happy Earth Day 2021. This year's theme is Restore Our Earth. And on this special day, we at Fluidtech thought it would be good to share our vision um, of what we call Fill4Life, right? And today we'll talk about sustainability through Fill4Life lubrication. So I'm one of the co-hosts, Josh Wagner, director of marketing and IT with Fluidtech, and I'm thrilled to introduce my colleagues, Pierre Vanderkellen, who's our CEO, and Yo Amaya, who is our general manager for Europe. And so, without further ado, Pierre, I'll kick it off to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Josh. So moving on to the next slide, as Josh introduced the topic, the reason why we are doing this today on Earth Day is we believe that we can all bring something. Everybody has a meaning, and even for companies, actually, there are plenty of things that can be done. Since day one at Fluidtech, I would say it has been in our DNA to search for solutions that could reduce the amount of waste produced every year. And if you look at lubricants, you can Google and you can read more about it, but about 50% of lubricants end their life somewhere in the nature, water, soil, and so on. So it's a pretty acute problem. And the other one is CO2 emissions. So we will do a bit of an introduction to set the grounds, to explain where it comes from, how we see this as a, let's say, a macro view, and you'll see that later on we are going to zoom in more specifically to what we do. Of course, a little drop in the ocean, but our belief is that if everybody does something, we will all be better off. So, what is Earth Day? Earth Day is actually not a recent thing. It's celebrated since the 1970s, and it's now celebrated internationally. So in a lot of countries there are some celebrations, and it's typically done on the 22nd. It's the important aspect on this slide, I believe, is that it's not only about sustainability, but also about the society, safety as well. If you have to change less lubricants less frequently, there's also less safety concern associated with it, as well as environmental performances. Next slide. And it's all linked to three main topics. One you hear a lot about is normalizing net zero. A lot of people speak about net zero, achieving zero emissions in 30 years from now. A lot of countries now are, especially young generation, I would say, are embracing this concept. There's a lot of push from medias, but also from, like I said, younger ones, and less younger ones like us. But it's something that is now very well accepted. It's getting more and more traction. the roots are really in the Paris Agreement, but around that there are many other, let's say, agreements and actions that are taken. It's also about clean energy shift. Use solar and wind power more frequently whenever it's possible. Doesn't mean to be large scale, but you can also have a lot of smaller scale solar and wind projects that are also going to contribute to a positive impact. Not only about technology, you also need to think about how you finance that. So the financing landscape, even with banks, I was on a webinar with big banks quite recently, and you could also hear that some of them are positioning their bank as sustainable and working towards solutions that are financing technologies that are good for the environment. And then, of course, let's not forget super majors. There are big names that are working on solutions. It's not only about the two first aspects. Now, rising temperatures has been a bit a big debate, I would say. But right now, scientists are more and more confident in attributing extreme increases and shifts in temperature to CO2 emissions. If you go to the next slide, please. And in 2017, and there are probably more recent polls and let's say surveys, but what they found out was that 85% of large companies were reporting sustainability and corporate social responsibility in their reports. That number, I'm 100% sure, has increased over time. And the interesting part is that they found out as well that there was a correlation between these companies doing something good and reporting it, as well as achieving higher performances. And that is something that you can see very often. So yeah, we all agree CO2 emissions, they need to go down. And it's a challenge, meaning that a lot of large companies, you can see names such as Ineos, BASF, Siemens, Air Liquide, Fuchs, Shell, Total, and so on are working on solutions. So it's good because it's coming from regulations. Obviously, regulations are a big driver. And a lot is happening in Europe, but not only in Europe. So that's why you see also European OEMs and big names here, but not only. And that is a good thing. And there are also corporations that you would not have seen in the past that you see nowadays. A good example of that is Siemens Energy working with BASF in carbon management, leading to projects that are highly efficient, I would say, because you really have cooperations of the best minds towards the same goal. Next, please. So now more specifically about Fluidtech. So Fluidtech, most of you are familiar with Fluidtech. If not, I encourage you to go on www.fluidtech.com. Our company is 25 years old. Since day one, we have been looking at solutions that allow us to lengthen the life and improve the performance of industrial lubricants. So by doing this, of course, there are three important aspects for us. One is technical. It needs to be with superior products. Number two is return on investment. It has to be the cheapest at the bottom line level. So that doesn't mean that the cheapest at the top line, but bottom line for sure. And number three is sustainability. So our company with the concept of Fill4Life is really at the nexus of, let's say, industrial equipment health and environment. And for us to claim that we have an impact on the environment, a positive one, are not just words. We have been twice labeled, I would say. The first time in October 2019 by the Solar Impulse Foundation. I will explain further what the Solar Impulse Foundation has been doing. It's a great work they have been doing in the last years. And more recently certified as a B corporation. And there as well, I will explain you briefly what this is about. Solar Impulse, for the ones who like to read Tintin. So I'm from Belgium, so of course, Tintin it was one of my heroes when I was a young kid. Tintin is a character from a comic book. And if you like Tintin, there's a professor in the comic book, Professor Tournesol, depending on the translation. And this professor is the copy paste of the grandfather of Mr. Picard. Mr. Picard, Bertrand Picard, is the grandchildren of the late Professor Picard. And in 3 generations, each one of them has achieved something significant in the sense that one was the first one to dive the deepest in the sea. The second one, the highest in the air, and the third one has achieved the first round the world trip with a plane that you can see on the right here, which is a solar plane. And that was a fantastic PR event. He came back, and I would make a long story short, but the idea after that was, okay, what is next? And the next idea was, why don't we gather 1,000 solutions around the world that have an impact on the environment? And actually, you could apply, and so we did, of course. And it did go through a quite, let's say, strict process where they had to be convinced that not only you had a solution that was good for the environment, but also you could make, let's say, a living from it. It was just, it was sustainable in a sense. So again, I encourage you to go on Solar Impulse's website. You'll find a lot of great ideas, very innovative. You have very large companies and also very small ones, from the tiny little ones to the very large ones. B Corporation is more North American, I would say. It's pretty well known in the US, although it's getting traction and recognition now elsewhere, especially in Europe. And B stands for best or benefits or doing something good. And it's looking at 250. So you're asked 250 questions on your company. They take a deep dive in all aspects of your company, from how you treat your employees to how you deal with suppliers, how you deal with the environment, and so on and so forth. We are extremely proud to have received that certification. Also, we were the first industrial lubricant company to achieve that certification. I'm sure there are going to be additional companies in our sector, which would be great for the sector as well and the industry. Next, please. So what do we do at Fluidtech? Because you could say, well, it's nice, but guys, what are you doing? And our company, if I look at the top left part, we started by measuring, and we still do, but it is how we started doing business in the industrial lubricant sector. And we invented 2, let's say, technology, but one really is the ruler. And the ruler is measuring antioxidant left in active antioxidant left in lubricants. So it's a great tool. Again, you can go on our website. You're going to receive more information. Yo will give you also a bit of that later on in the presentation. But in essence, if you follow that clockwise, if you follow that diagram, you'll see that we started by measuring. Then we found out ways to remove aging products. It's a little bit like you go to the doctor, you take a blood sample, there's a problem that has been identified and a solution which is more like a kind of dialysis that is going to, let's say, purify your body. So by purifying it, obviously you're going to probably live longer or extend your life. Finally, and then moving on, we also have worked on adding things that were lacking into lubricants. So antioxidants, different types of additives to give it a second life. So of course, it's extending the life again, so it has an impact on waste and CO2 emissions. And finally, we have our own long-lasting suite of lubricants, which we call Infinity. And there will be a couple of case studies later on over these technologies for your information. Next, please. So I think at this point, yep, go ahead.
Yes, Josh, there should be a poll coming up if we're correct.
Yeah, thank you. So thanks, Pierre, for that introduction and really highlighting where we are as a planet and specifically what's happening in our industries. the ones that we touch, and then finally what Fluidtech is doing for the Earth in terms of helping sustainability. So we just want to do a poll real quick and ask each of you, is sustainability in terms of your KPIs, things that you are doing in your departments, in your companies, is sustainability part of your KPIs? So we'll wait 30 seconds or so to get the votes coming. I see them coming in right now, and we will show the results once they're done. And by the way, there's a Q&A section of this platform. So if you have any questions, comments, stories to share, go ahead and use the Q&A to do that. So we still have some voting going on.
Yes. I'll share then. I will have to go to the polls results then, Josh, because I share. Or are you going to share the screen? Or
Yeah, I've got it. It'll pop up.
Okay.
So I think that's probably good for now. We'll publish the results.
Yes.
So interesting.
Yeah. Yes. Good.
So our audience will see that. So 80% of the audience have sustainability as part of their KPIs. Excellent.
80%. That's a really high score. That's fabulous. So
That's good to hear, right?
exactly.
Okay,
That's a good link to the next slide I want to present. First of all, thank you, Pierre, for this excellent introduction and positioning of where Fluidtech is positioning itself towards the future, and especially today in the theme of restoring our Earth, our planet. For all participants, thank you again for registering and attending. You can ask your questions in the Q&A part of this presentation. Just type your question. We have Josh, who is meanwhile moderating these questions. If he will also give me a little hint when there's too much questions, when it's flooding over, then I will answer the most important questions. So good. With what Pierre was saying about the introduction, is that clear that Fluidtech, we are still we are pioneers, and we continue to be pioneers. The scheme that you have seen, I call it the life in balance model with the 4 clover. And so being pioneers and knowing that Luboy health monitoring is part of our DNA, the question is now, is the part or is the Fill4Life, is that a dream or is that a reality? And the answer is yes.
Are you supposed to be sharing your screen?
I'm sharing my screen. I do, yes. What is going on?
I don't think we're seeing that.
Uh-oh. Just a moment here. Then we have I apologize. There was something, then he kicked me out. I really apologize. Okay.
Beautiful.
Are we now? Is it now working?
We have it. Thank you.
Okay, it was a little hiccup, but that's software. So yes, the question was, Fill4Life, is it a dream or is it a reality? Yes, it's a reality. The path to the Fill4Life, you see it there. And with this session, we want to show you how this path can also be part of your path. And let's try to visualize this today, what it means for the industry. If we take an example, which is for everybody very realistic, it's the large power plant with volumes up to 30, 40,000 liters of oil, and where a specific oil is manufactured following specifications to meet the speed of the turbine and hydrodynamic oil film. all of that has led to specific oil strategies. And over the years, luckily, the industry has moved away from a fixed time oil change interval to a condition-based changed oil interval. When one of the parameters which is used for that, as we all know, is monitoring antioxidants, as antioxidants are the number one parameter I'd say guaranteeing the lifetime of the oil, the health of the oil. So the industry is applying this parameter to understand what is the oil health, and it's measured, for your information, specifically today in industry by using a ruler technology. This strategy, although the antioxidants are less than 1% of the total package of the lubricant, is still a very important parameter, and has been leading to a condition-based main strategy, which is, from an economical and from a reliability viewpoint, it's working, it's efficient. But as you can see, of course, changing the oil every time, there's always a cost with that, and we can also think about the efficiency of mixing an oil with the impact on compatibility, or even about deposits. So over the years, we could ask ourselves, is this the ultimate? Well, no, this is not the ultimate. The ultimate is to combine economics with ecology, or if you want, sustainability. And therefore, Fluidtech is here as a company to introduce the Fill4Life strategy, and in a wide range of industries, as a really innovative approach. For industries like hydraulics, wind energy, steam turbines, compressors, all based on this Fill4Life strategy. And like Josh was saying, and Pierre, this is our little contribution, small contribution to saving or restoring our Earth. And if you want to calculate that in barrels of metric tons of CO2 reduction or emission reduction, with corresponding volume of over 10 million liters of oil a year, it is possible, it is achievable, and it is also why the program that we are presenting at Fluidtech, the Fill4Life, has led to the Solar Impulse label we have achieved, as well the B Corp link. So it is achievable. Realistically, it is achievable. And it's not only that we believe at Fluidtech in that direction, it's also that over the last 10 years, we have now generated several hundreds of equipment and converted them to this strategy of Fill4Life strategy. Of course, with the approach and the support from major OEMs like Siemens Energy, supporting the Fill4Life sustainable approach, or Man Energy Solutions. And we continue to innovate with them in order to meet also their sustainability strategies in a joint way, and for future or existing equipment. This was supposed to be a video that was going to work on the use of a Fill4Life strategy with a major air separation company, as you can see, Air Liquide. I'm not sure this video is going to work. You will maybe not hear the sound. It's a video who is talking, and that you can also find on the link. And it's talking about the concepts. And I will have to move to the next slide because you don't hear the sound. And it's talking about the program Air Liquide has implemented for managing their Lubrication for all their compressors, gas compressors worldwide. And
Yeah,
I invite you.
I'll put the links to the video
Yes,
in the
perfect.
chat because
Yeah.
it's not coming through.
No,
The sound's not
it's
coming through.
not correct. I just wanted to stop and show this slide where you can also see the results of that presentation. That was also part of our last year international event, the Lubrication Reliability Virtual Summit, and which is a strong testimonial on this Fill4Life concept. For over more than 80 production sites where it has been integrated, and which proves that also, and I will have to move now and skip because it's not going to work if I do it like that. So yes, the Fill4Life concept is ready to go. It's available at Fluidtech. The Fill4Life concept is based, like we have shown you, on three main bases. It's make sure you always monitor the lubricant, measure that. From these information you can also make the right actions, consult, and then also from these consultation you also go to specific maintenance actions like lifetime extension, which we are going to show you just in a few minutes, or cleaning the lubricant and removing the oxidation products. So these three major steps are like basic stones for building up this Fill4Life strategy. If one of them is missing, it will possibly be more difficult. And the path to Fill4Life at Fluidtech is paved with 25 years of experiences, research, development, more than 100,000 of oil analysis test results from a wide range of industry, starting in the 95 until now. And it also has helped us to perform a lot of root cause analysis, understanding how lubricants are degrading, differentiating the degradation process, and leading at Fluidtech how we could, with a specific and well-balanced antioxidant package, re-additize or revive, if you want, in-service lubricants. In this specific case, the Boost AO is a product that is used for turbine oils, re-additizing. And in fact, with this, you're putting the earth at less stress, extending the lifetime through, and that's very important, a balanced antioxidant package. Because there's no one size fits for in-service oils. And all samples are individual qualified, following specific ACM procedures, all to have a zero risk operation with a very high safety, and also very important, resulting in performing results. And that means that if you want to compare how a used oil on the left side of the graph is showing you how a fresh oil is oxidized and the green color versus the blue, you see the degraded turbine oil. If you then compare on the right side of the graph, the same formulation of oil which we have boosted with an antioxidants, a well-balanced antioxidant package. If you stress again that same under the same conditions, you will see that the lifetime expectation of this lubricant has increased by approximately factor 3.5 because you have specifically looked at a well-balanced package of antioxidants. And that is then the strategy where you can, like in this case, on which I will come back later, This was for it's a milestone for Fluidtech. This was the first Boostio exercise project we have done at Fluidtech. It is was at that time a gas turbine that was performing under yes, as you can see, about approximately 30% remaining useful life or remaining antioxidants. At that time, we then decided to have beatitization boosted with antioxidants, and the goal, the target, was to achieve 100,000 hours, operating hours. We are now 2021. You can see from this graph that the correlation between antioxidants depletion and RPUT shows a very stable and gradual depletion, a controlled oxidative life, and with this we will achieve even more than 100,000 hours. To help you understanding how this is today implemented, Pierre and Josh, myself, we have selected a few examples, but I believe, Josh, that first we are going to have a poll before we continue talking about the cases, if I'm correct.
Yes, thank you, Yo. So, you know, we'd asked before, essentially, was sustainability a part of your own KPIs for the department or for the company? And our next question is more or less aligned with, whether it's a bidding process or buying process, when you look for new products, how significant is sustainability when making those decisions?
Yeah, it's a question which comes up today, every day, becoming more actual. So yes, I'm very anxious to see the results of that, Paul, Josh. Meanwhile, I will take a little sip of my water, lubricate my voice.
So the votes are coming in. We'll give it a few more seconds.
Yes, great. Do we have more questions who came in already?
Not yet. Not yet. I know people are itching to ask those questions. So once again, if you have questions, comments, anything, tell us a story about, what your company's doing for sustainability. Post it in the Q&A section, please. All right, so we'll publish those results now. Oh, we have a few more coming in. All right, we'll publish them now, and we'll get a look-see. So it looks like we're, as part of the buying decision, or buying process, in the somewhat significant and very significant. That's good to see, right? So that's about 92% has some type of sustainability in mind in that buying process. So that's good.
Yeah, that's also good to know. That's good value, good valuable information. So if we don't have any questions, we're doing fine on timing. We have about 10 minutes left here, so perfect. So here we have a few case studies where we can show you practical field information. This is the first one on the compressor, turbo compressor, turbo unit, a large fertilizer plant, 11,000 liters of mineral turbine oil. And as you can see on the blue line, which is the antioxidants depletion, starting in 2018, and we can see that within 1.5 years, we see about a serious drop of antioxidants, where initial lifetime was estimated for 5 years, 6 years. So at that time, the revision should have been avoided, and with this Boostio program, after compatibility study, we can see that we are bringing the oil back to 100%, and also have a more controlled depletion of antioxidants with also deposit control. This is an oil, like it looks now, we will probably achieve 6 years lifetime. On that estimation, we can see here what that means in emission reduction, about 29 metric tons. From a power plant, interesting also is that more and more large power plants like this one, they are not always able to plan their revisions, depending from the availability and their production program. This was a power plant which initially in 2017 had a remaining useful life, as you can see on the the green line, the dark green line, of less than 25%, which is the condemning limit of ASTM and DIN. So basically, the revision could not be done before 2022, and it was decided there to extend the lifetime of the lubricant. And we can see here that for this 15,000 liter oil, after now nearly 4 years, we are still in a very good control of antioxidants, so much more stable packaging, also with MPC control here over the system. Just why do I show MPC? Because to show you that the compatibility and deposit is here also in control. Oxidative and deposit control are two corresponding parameters. Steel plant is another continuous production process where avoiding shutdowns is really is key, certainly when it's not planned. In this case, there was also, as you can see, an antioxidants level which was approaching the 25%. And about 6 months before revision, it was decided that they could only have a minor revision to make some mechanical control, but at the same time, it was boosted with AO on this steam turbine. And as you can see also here, deposit and oxidative control is extended and well controlled here. And we will probably also here, if we can make calculations for 9,000 liter, go for another 24 metric tons of CO2 emissions reduction in an industry that is totally different than the first two ones.
Yo,
Please.
we have a question. From Ken, and it's, what compatibility tests are run for steam and gas turbine oils? And are they different for Group 1 and Group 2?
We base ourselves on ASTM D7155, and we add to the specifications. We add the major oil parameters like RPVOT. We also look at water separation, air release, deemulsibility, foaming. I said twice the same. Of course, ruler, antioxidants. It's also because it's not only a matter of understanding if you are having a good response of antioxidants, but that they also are not, I would say, creating a negative reaction. That must be in a positive way, synergetically working and creating a good oxidative response. So that is the program we're performing for lubricants compatibility testing. This is the case study that I was showing very initially, the two gas turbines in the USA. It's a large gas turbine operators, two each 16,000 liters of mineral oil. In 2012, like I told you, it was on the moment to change the oil. It was decided to extend that and approached 100,000 hours. We are now 2021. And what I have been told is that this oil is still in service, so we will have overreached 100,000 and go even in direction maybe of 200,000 hours. So it is realistically feasible with this process of Boost AO product that Fluidtech is presenting. Now, of course, like you see, the path to Fill4Life is not only consisting of a good condition monitoring control and taking the right maintenance actions, but very often it's also good, it's important to make sure that when a lubricant is degrading antioxidants, when they are consumed, that you are removing the oxidation products or the consumed antioxidants. And also there we are the leader in presenting, bringing technology to the market which are extending the life of the lubricant. And it's not always a matter of removing varnish, like we say, but it's just normal degradation products, doing normal oxidative degradation of a lubricant. And to show you a case study here, I only took one, but we have a wider range of them. But this is a waste incineration plant in Germany with 2 steam turbines, from which I took one. And you can see in the first oil fill here from 2009 and until 2013, 3 years later, approximately 50% of the oil life was consumed, whereafter the company consulted us and we based on the deposit control, we decided to implement a cleaning, a continuous cleaning of the oil reservoir, remove these degradation products, very reactive compounds, so that they protect the antioxidant health. And you can see that from there on, from 2013 until now, which is more than 7 years, it's still the same lubricant. And you see the different regime of oxidative depletion on this lubricant. So that plays also an important part. The part to Fill4Life also, but all this information and these many hundred thousands of oil samples and test results then made us starting to develop our own lubricant, which would fit in this Fill4Life strategy. And not only having the correct oxidative control, but also have an optimum deposit control, which is then helping also to achieve, or I would say even get an equal lifetime of the equipment if you want. This is the Infinity turbine oil. Today available on the market, which is designed really for Fill4Life operations. The 10-year deposit control performance warranty, and also very important, if you want to go for longer life, this is a technology which is developed for replenishment with our own Boosteo. So it's balanced together through the development of the product. And absolutely, so the operational risk is here is absolutely totally under control. And to show you some of the case studies we have today, this is one of the very early case studies we have had with Infinity. This is a nitrogen compressor, a large nitrogen compressor, where initially we could see how deposit was a real issue on this compressor. Integrating with Infinity turbine oil in 2017, we are now, well, we should update that graph. Basically, I got it until 29, but 19, you can see how deposit is very well controlled, and also that antioxidants over the trend after making the recharge with Infinity turbine oil and taking the right actions here, that you have a very good control of the antioxidants in comparison with this cycle. So this is the Infinity turbine oil strategy, which is then, of course, be applied for compressor applications. Remember also that the whole realization with Boost is not only, I want to emphasize that it's not only for turbine oils, it is for a wide range of industry, hydraulics, think about a lot of mining fluids. So that is, I think we are right on timing, Josh and Pierre. So I would say, today, we are here to talk about how we can bring our little piece, contribution to restoring the earth. So my action is here. It's time for action. So and time to answer your questions. So go ahead, Josh.
So do we have any questions out there? I know that Ken asked the one on compatibility, and you answered that before, Yo. Angus did update us saying, I guess the original link for the Air Liquide Fill4Life video didn't work. I've just put a new link in there. So if you want to take a look at that, and there's an opportunity to look at the full recording of essentially how Air Liquide is doing their and managing their Fill4Life.
Yeah.
So are there any other questions or comments or stories to share out there?
I see here a question on Infinity Oil. I understand correctly, the compressor oil was topped up with Infinity Oil, which cleaned the oil. No, it was not topped up. It was the system was totally clean. So important with Infinity in any Fill4Life lubricant is that you want to control the start. You want to be sure that from starting that the contamination is 100% under control. So there is a pre-flushing, a pre-cleaning who's being done specifically with one of our technologies, which is called Solvencer, to make sure that you achieve a high solubility and you remove all the degradation products. And then after that, the system was changed 100% filled with the Infinity oil. So it was a start with a 100% concentration of Infinity.
So you have another question. So always assist our systems and analysis with FluidTech products. Thank you for sharing. Oh, that's very kind. Thank you so much, Imat. Thank you.
There you go. 2 new questions.
Yeah, we use so yes, we use MPC for D7155, and from what I know, we also working today on D7155 to get some updates to the 7155, include compatibility testing and contamination testing in a more updated way. So your question is valid, but we use MPC because it addresses more the compatibility issues, certainly when you start mixing group 1 with group 2 and group 3, and even with synthetic oils. I cannot answer this last question. I am not into formulation of lubricants, so I'm very sorry. That is what happens if to the ruler if it's a mixture of oil. So yeah, I think you should mail me as offline for this. Please email George or me. I can answer you that question. A ruler can measure any mixture of oil. Of course, it's always better to know the standard. It compares the new oil with its standards. That's clear. If you have mixtures, then it needs a few different testing procedures and a bit more careful in making interpretation. But I cannot say specifically what you're asking me on the formulation of this oil. But you can email me on offline so that we can maybe continue this discussion offline, sir. I see it's pratic, so you can email me. You will receive an email after you left this session. You'll receive an email, and there you can then reply to with your question. George, is that correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, and I'll put your email in here, Yo, so that everybody has it as well. Do we have any other questions, comments?
Once, twice, thrice.
Okay. Then I would like to thank my colleagues, presenters. It's the first time that we do something with the 3 of us. I really enjoyed this. I must say it's different than being alone. So doing this webinar, so it's fantastic. Good job.
Thank you, Yo.
I hope the audience has learned something from it.
Josh, quick question. One of the next big webinars or events we have is LRVS. So, I mean, I think it would be great for the audience to know that we will have, like last year, our virtual summit, which is a yearly event.
So, so LRVS, which is an independent, let's say, event, right? Just so happens that we're hosting it. Is happening virtually again. Lubrication and reliability focused, and is happening September 14th and 15th of this year. And you can get details at lrvs.events. That's lrvs.events. I just put the website in the chat. So for those that are curious, we've just launched our call for speakers. So if there's a topic, anything related to lubrication or reliability, is open, right? So this is sensors, IoT, condition monitoring. So we've already have probably 10 or so speakers. We're anticipating probably around 60 to 70 speakers this year. So please go to the event and to the site and have a look around, and the speaker packet's already on there, and the ability to submit your abstracts.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you very much, everyone.
Happy Earth Day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye all.